Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. You can tell from the title and thumbnail for today's reading vlog, we are doing a roll of the dice reading vlog. And this is something that, I haven't done a specific vlog around it, but I have done it in previous reading vlogs from a few years ago. And I had this idea because I was thinking about it, and I was like, hey, why not let my dice control the full reading vlog? So let me go let me grab those real quick. So I got dice single, I think. So I have this one, then this one goes up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one goes up to 8. And I have one that's 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. This is double O's, 10s up to 80. This one, 17. I think this one goes up to 20. This one is a regular die. It goes up to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6. This one I think goes up to 12. And then this one, it's a 3-sided triangle, 4-sided triangle. And I already dropped it. Okay. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. So there's this one. And usually, depending on what I would do in previous vlogs, is this was one I was keeping more open to all of my shelves. I would choose one die and have that represent the number of the shelves, so 1 through 5, and then I would choose a second die, and then I would usually have that one be the higher one. So, for example, it wouldn't always be this one, but I would maybe choose this one for the shelf, and then if I got 6, I would just go back up here. And then I would maybe choose this one once I got a shelf. I'll choose this one, and then whichever number it landed on the very top, is the book I would choose based on the number I got. But so that's what I would do in my vlogs. And I had this idea because I was just like, hey, I have a select number of books that are officially unread on my bookshelf. And I was like, you know what? Let's let my dice choose what I read next. I do have 2 books on my bookshelf. Well, let me double check real quick. Okay, and also with my mic where it is, it's right here. You might have heard my finger tapping it, but that will also probably help me indicate look over in this direction, talk in this direction, so look in this direction. So I have officially 2 books that I have read in this list, but one of them I want to reread just as a refresh, and then the other one I wanted to read before reading the sequel because I haven't read the sequel yet. And then I have a third book which I started but DNF'd because I had read it too soon to another work. So yeah. So I'm going to talk about the books real quick. No, I'm not going to talk about the books. I'm going to name the books real quick, and then I will go sit down and then roll the die and then choose the book that I'm going to read. So let me actually stick this right here real quick, just to make sure I have space. Okay. 1 second, actually. I'm going to bring them a little closer. So these are kind of in reverse order based on me pulling them off the shelf and stacking them. But first up is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. I read Black Cake by the same author. Really loved it. This one sounded really interesting. So, Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. You won't be able to see that. Let's stick it maybe up here. There we go. That works. I'm figuring out the single as I go, you guys. So Good Dirt by Sherman Wilkerson. And then Violet Thistlebeat is Not a Villain Anymore by Ellen Krumholtz. And my plan is, like I said, I'm just going to name the books and name the author, and then I'm only going to talk about the books if they get chosen for this reading vlog. I'm not going to read all of them in this reading vlog, but whichever ones I do read, end up reading in this reading vlog, I will talk about. So next up is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. McConaughey? I don't know. Apparently, no one really knows how to pronounce her name. Excuse me. And then next up is Bloodbound. This was an early release. I don't know if it's been published yet or not officially, but I got this as an early release from Barnes Noble. The author is Ellis Hunter. Oh, this is really working out very nicely. And then next up is What the River Knows by Isabella Bañez. This is the book one that I want to reread before reading the sequel. It is a duology. And then the next book, the second book, is Where the Library Hides, also by Isabella Bañez, and I just wanted to reread this as a refresh for this. And so those right there. And then next up is the book that I wanted to reread as just the refresh, and that is The Attic Child by Lola J. And I liked it. I don't remember a whole lot about it. So I'm gonna shift these over here. Oh my god, that really works, you guys. I'm getting somewhere with my life. I'm always getting somewhere with my life. Anyway, next up is Kin by Tayari Jones. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then getting into the non book of the month books. This also did partially originate as kind of like the baby idea to when I was trying to read all of my book of the month books. But I decided you're shaking a little bit, sorry. I decided against that just because it's like I was already starting to burn myself out a little bit with reading the Book of the Month books. So, yeah, here we are. I'm going to focus on the unread ones and the ones I do not like. But getting into the non-Book of the Month books. 640 to Montreal by Ava Jersnick. And this one I picked up kind of on impulse when I was at Barnes Noble because it was like part of like the buy one get one 50% off. And the bookseller, I was at the checkout. The bookseller, he was like, "Hey, like if you like Agatha Christie, this might be right up your alley." And I was like, "Oh, I do like Agatha Christie." And he was telling me about it, and I was like, "Get it." So that's why I got this one. I don't think it's been on my bookshelf for that long, but it's been on my bookshelf for long enough, so need to get it read. But it might be on my bookshelf for longer. And then last, but most certainly not least, is Malice by John Gwynne, book one in the Faithful Nicole. So this one, I started to read it and then did a soft DNF of it because I read it too soon after finishing the Bloodsworn series, after finishing book three, and it was too many big books too close together. Like I don't know if you guys relate, but like if I read too many big books back to back, then that's when I'm like, oof. So even like I had started Malice a little closer to the end of the year when I finished the the Fury of the Gods mid year, but it was like so there was at least like a at minimum a 4 month gap, but that was still too close. But it's been at least a year now since I finished that, or a little bit under a year now. So I want to give this a shot. But I am now going to transition over to my desk so I can do the dice roll. Okay. So I realized I almost forgot the dice before I started recording, so I quickly grabbed them. I've chosen two. So I chose this one, and then I chose the traditional cube die. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll them and then add them together, and then count whichever. Because I feel like, and I'm going to stick with these two for the duration of this reading book. Because I feel like if I stick with these two and then add them together, it'll give me a bigger chance for a slightly larger number. But first off, let me count how many books this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 books here. And, like doing these two together, like if I do 6, if I do just the sixth one, then, like I will be removing the books and putting them like onto my shelf, and the stack won't stay this tall. Once I've read them, they'll be removed from the stack. But like if I do the 6 and I land on 6 or I land on 5, I know where I'm gonna land. And then if I do this one, it's kind of like the same thing. If I land on 10 and under, so it's like this way I'll guarantee at least over 10 together. And this one I would get. There is a potential to get over 10, but it's like there's still a potential to get under 10. So that's my reasoning for choosing these two. But I am going to roll now, and I'm going to take you along with me. Also, yes, I know I was a little bit muffled with the book. The microphone was behind the books, so I'm going to scoot you over here a little bit. Okay, and then I'm doing this on camera so you know I'm not changing the numbers. So I'm sliding this one over. So 14 and 3, so that would be 17. Now I'm going to lift you up. There's the microphone. So let's see, 17, I think it was. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Oh, and I just bought this one too. Also, before I forget and mess up my setup while I have the mic right in front of my face, if at any point when I'm doing these dice roll, what I'll do if it this is only if it lands on Where the Library Hides. That's book 2 in the Isabel Ibanez duology. Um, if it lands on Where the Library Hides, then what I'll do is I'll reread what the river knows, and then read What the Library Hides. So yeah, that's the plan for that one. But if it lands on if it lands on what the river knows, or Where the Library Hides, I will read both. Okay, so because I have the book chosen, Bloodbound, I'm going to put all these books back, keep Bloodbound, and then discuss that one. So give me one moment. Okay, so we have Bloodbound chosen. So basically, when I finish Bloodbound, I was kind of saying this earlier in the video. When I finish Bloodbound, I will take this out of the stack. And then once I finish, okay, I already said once I finish it, but it will be removed from the stack. And then the rest of the books, the other 9 books, will stay in the stack, and then that's what I will choose from for the next dice roll. But I'm going to keep these out and a little bit accessible. They're right in front of my Lord of the Rings series. But to talk about Bloodbound, I showed this in my April book month unboxing and announcement where I was talking about how I was reworking how I was going to do that reading log. So this is it reworked. But can we talk about how beautiful this is? I'm trying to block my face because this is honestly so gorgeous. Stop showing my face. And then this is the bookend artwork for both front and back. It's so gorgeous. And then also what I really like about this one, they kind of went all out with this cover in this book, and I have zero idea why. But you saw the cover for it, but they have a blue one where you can flip it around. They went all out with this, guys. So I'll do that after. I just realized I left my tissue box on the bookshelf, And something I'm testing out with my bookshelf is having it clear. Because usually I have like stuff on my bookshelf, which I love. I love having like little decor pieces on my bookshelf, but I'm testing out not having stuff on my bookshelf. Um, and I moved my tissue box over there when I was showing you guys the books in front of the bookshelf. So I need to move it back onto my desk. Excuse me. But when I'm reading this, I'm going to have the dust jacket off. But to give you the description for Bloodbound, and also, guys, I don't think I've actually directly asked this yet, but if you've made it this far into the video, let me know. I've been editing on my phone, and I have an iPhone 16. And the reason why I've been editing on my phone, I've talked about it a little bit, but I've been editing on my phone because when I transfer the videos, when I airdrop the videos from my phone to my computer's older. I think it's like 2013 or so. And when I airdrop the video clips to my computer from my phone with the newer phone, and this also happened when I had like the phone right before this one, which it was an iPhone 15, maybe an iPhone like 12 or 13, I don't remember. But this one in the phone that I had right before this, it had like the facial ID and didn't have the thumbprint. But when I would try to get the thought out, when I would airdrop the videos to my computer, which is an older computer, my laptop, the audio would be so distorted. So I've been editing it in iMovie on my phone, editing the videos, which is why for the past bit of time there has been a whole lot of in-depth editing lately. But if you guys know of a way of how I could edit my videos a little bit better than iMovie, let me know. First off, if you made it this far, if you know of like a better, I'm trying to do it for free because this is a hobby, so I'm trying not to spend too much money on it. Too much money on actually like the actual production of the videos. So if there's like any good free video editing apps for like YouTube, and B, if you know of a way in iMovie where I could like put in a photo, because I used to be able to do this on my computer very easily. But if like, imagine this is like the cover of the book, just a picture of the cover, and that way I could be talking, and then that way it's like the picture would be here, and then I could give you all like, I could be holding the book like this and giving the description while you still see the cover. So if you know of a way to do that in iMovie, or if there's an easy way to do that in another editing app that's preferably free, please let me know down below in the comments. I would really appreciate it. But anyway, I'm talking about Bloodbound by Elise Hunter. I won't say Elise, by Ellis Hunter. And to give you all the description, you cannot forfeit, you cannot run, you duel, or you die. Astrid has always known she is destined to die. She is the last Nocturne witch, and heir to the queendom. Did I misread that when I did my book of the month unboxing? An heir to the queendom of Etruria, cursed by a centuries-old covenant to duel the heir to the kingdom of Batra for the source of all magic, the heart. And now Astrid's time is up. She's heading into enemy territory to face Prince Zorian, the most powerful dragon rider in eons, with only her familiar, her potions, and her wits to aid her. She is going to die, and any chance her queendom has of curing the blight that's ravaging the lands and killing her people will die with her. Meanwhile, deep in Dragon Country, Skylar and her traveling troupe arrive in Vatra's capital, ready to profit off the legions of spectators swarming to the city ahead of the duel. She despises the royals and all they stand for, especially as the king's guard murdered her mother. But when her best friend disappears, suspected to have been taken in this conscription, her search takes her closer to the royals than she ever could have imagined. As the duel looms over the kingdom, Skylar's and Astrid's fates intertwine. In a battle, they must battle a growing rebellion, their inner demons, and ultimately those they love most to determine if together they will save or doom their world. So that's what this one is about. And I keep wanting to say Elise Hunter is a pen name for Katie Ellis Brown and Becky Hunter, two friends who wanted to write about two friends. Um, Katie Ellis Brown is an Irish-British writer and editor who lives in Cornwall with her husband, daughter, and two familiars, black cats. Becky Hunter is a UK-based author, book publicist, and romance reader who is currently ruled by her two rescued ponies. Oh, she has ponies! They met while working in publishing and bonded over their shared obsession with fantasy. So I'm really excited to read this because it seems like it would be right up my alley, and I think it might be queer. I don't quite know. Do not quote me. It might be a little queer. We will figure that out. But I will. I'm not. I've been trying to. I've said this in some of my reading vlogs lately, but I've been trying to be better about updating as I'm reading and giving you updates as I'm reading. I had to decide if that's something I want to do for this reading vlog, and I'm going to choose a bookmark. This is my little bookmark box. So I don't want anything. I got this at the one for like 2 years ago, and it was like so cute. I knew someone was going to follow it, but my bookmark box. Let's see, what do I want to read? What do I want to read with? I feel like this one might be a good one. Oh, right, I forgot I had this one. I have to put this with my Under the Oak Tree books. Okay. Okay. I think I am going to go with the first one that I saw. And I got it at Anime Expo. It's Kiki's Delivery Service bookmark. It was part of a set. There we go. No, stop focusing on the face. There we go. Kiki's Delivery Service, it's by Sugar Beats. So, I'm going to use this one. Because at least it matches some of the color scheme. So, there's a map. Okay, so it looks like Artruria is in the north and Vatra is in the south. There's a map, you guys. Oh, and then the dedication page. Oopsies. Let's see. I lost it. For Teddy, my own miracle girl. Aww. For all the girls who grew up dreaming of being dragon riders, and to all the authors who allow us to live in fantasy. That's sweet. Okay, I don't want to say this too early, but at the same time, I kind of want to say this early. I feel like this might be. The thing is I've been told to read fourth ring. But I do not want to. I do not want to. Just because it's like, on the one hand, fourth ring seems like it would be up my alley, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think it's executed in a way that I would like. And I think this will be my fourth ring. And I think this probably will be what fourth ring should have been. Again, I didn't want to say that too early, but also I kind of did, so I said it. So, anyway, I will come back to you when I have an update. This might be another good angle with some of my eclectic collection. And then some of my books. We'll decide on this one. But I also wanted to update you on the library books that I'm currently reading as well. I'm listening to an audiobook through Libby, and then I have a physical book. I also just realized I didn't do the mic setup, but that's not something we're worrying about right now because I'm tired. I'm not going to talk about the library books. I'll mention them when I start a new one, but I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not really going to update them or review them in this video because the purpose of this video is to focus on physical shelves. So the first audiobook that I'm reading is the first book I'm reading is the physical one, The Spirit of the Rainforest, How Indigenous Wisdom and Scientific Curiosity Reconnects Us to the Natural World by Dr. Rosa Vasquez Espinosa. So that's what this book is. And so this one, to give the slight little blurb, join scientist Dr. Rosa Vasquez Espinosa as she uncovers one of the most unexplored regions on the planet. And something that I really liked about this one is that, so you have the contents page, and then you have a page in between the contents and the introduction. And it says, before you step into the jungle, there are a few things you need to know. So I think that's a really good hook. So this one, I'm only a couple pages into it because I read this one and I did a couple pages of this and a couple pages of the other physical library book that I have, just to decide which one I wanted to read first, because I wanted to read both of these before I return them, but I wanted to see which one would be of slightly more interest. So this one, and then the audiobook that I'm listening to through Libby is Green Teeth by Mullen O'Neill, and that one I am really enjoying, surprisingly. I got it as a recommendation from a bookseller at Barnes & Noble at the... Okay, so I stepped away for a minute and we just had a really good... my sister and I just had a really good laugh. So, anyway, Green Teeth, I got a recommendation from the bookseller at the Studio City Barnes & Noble a year and a half ago, so I just finally decided to borrow from the library, and so far, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. So, but like I also said, we are focusing on physical shelves. Okay, so I also realized, talking to my sister because we were talking about Under the Oak Tree. What volumes 1 and 2 right here. I realized, talking to her, that I have volume 2 unread. And my plan was, I need to pre-order volume 3. And my sister's doing the comics, I'm doing this. And that way you kind of have access to both. But I realized that book 2's unread. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to read Bloodbound, just because I already selected that one. But once I finish Bloodbound, is that what it's called? Yeah, Bloodbound. Once I finish that, I'm going to include these two in the stack when I choose my next book. I'm still probably going to try to read them, even if I don't select them, before Volume 3 comes out, or around when Volume 3 comes out. I'm going to try to start reading it when I pre-order Volume 3 in the next couple days. And it comes out in June, and it's currently April. So I'm probably going to try to start reading, at least start it, but I need to knock some books off of my currently reading list first. But getting back on topic, I am going to include these in the stack. Depending on when I finish Bloodbound, I'm probably going to include these in the stack of the books when I do my next dice roll. So I wanted to mention that. I wanted to put that out there. These are also in that stack. Look at how pretty this one is. And then Volume 3 is so gorgeous as well. Like, I was about to say I'll show it to you in this video, but this video is not going to go through until June. But yeah. And then the reason why I have 2 editions Volume 1 is because this is the arc that I got from Anime Expo, and I'm holding on to this for dear life because I went to Anime Expo the day that I got this. I went to Anime Expo with my friend, and we both got the arc at the same time. Um, so a little bit of fun memories attached to that. So I want to hold on to it for a while. I mean, it would have kind of been nice to collect some of the other arcs from Anime Expo last year, 2025, and then also this year, 2026, but I'm not going, so it is what it is. I've accepted that. But, maybe like Anime Expo 2027, there's another arc that they're releasing for Under the Oak Tree specifically. But we will see. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, these two also in that stack, like I said. Is there anything else that I'm missing? No, I don't think so. At least from red stuff. Yeah, nothing else. So I will officially see you all in my next update. It also, by the way, just for context, it's the same day, same evening, and I was so close. I just did a video. I just finished a video where I was like reorganizing my books. Where these are now back up here. And I was so close to shuffling these around and having it just go by height. But I really want all my manga together, so. Well, it's not all together because of this. Fruits basket is up here. And I tried to have Magic Knight Rares, these, up here, but both wouldn't have fit up there. So, yeah. Anyway, I will see you all officially when I have an update for you all. Did I just do this? So I was looking at my bookshelf because I was just like, in my bookshelf reorganization video, which I'll link down below in the description, I was happy with it, and I genuinely was, and I didn't shift stuff around because I was unhappy with it. But I was like, I don't want to organize my manga and manhwa and graphic novels. I don't want to organize these two sections by height, but I want all of my manga together. Because if I organize by height, that would separate my manga. And so then I was like, okay, how do I do that? How do I keep my manga together on one shelf? And obviously there will be a day where I can expand, but that is not this day. This day we just reorganize our books. I was gonna quote Aragorn, but didn't happen. This day we fight. This day we fight for space on the shelves. So basically what I did was I moved my two 25th anniversary editions of Magic Knight Earth back here because these are special editions. So I just figured back there to protect them as much as possible right now, and they will be on full display at some point on a bookshelf when I have the spatial capacity for that. But I have Magic Knight Earth 25th anniversaries back here, and then these are all in the same organization, so it's by height and then by alphabetical order. So Apothecary Diaries, and then Savior's Book Cafe, Story in Another World. Those are the same height, then alphabetical order. Yashahime, I only have one manga of this height. So Magic Knight Earth, only one volume or only one manga of this height as of right now. And then Delicious and Dungeon again, same deal. And then Fruits Basket. It actually kind of worked out, but here, let me fix the light real quick. There we go. So Fruits Basket, I thought it was the same height as Inuyasha, but apparently it's not. And now I have all this space up here for when I expand upon Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I love doing this. I love being able to just pull it off and show you real quick. Pull it out very slightly. When I expand on this one, and then when I expand the pretty edition of Happy Official Blessing, I have one more space for ads. And also, I have space to add more for under the oak tree. Can we normalize? Can we normalize? Can we normalize this with book series? Does the Bloodsworn trilogy and The Faithful and The Fallen, both by John Gwynne, both the series by John Gwynne, do this? But can we normalize? Can we normalize again having the book number on the side of the spine? It doesn't have to be on the cover. It doesn't have to be on the front cover. Like, it honestly doesn't. But can we normalize having it on the spine at least? Like, because then I know what goes where, you know? Because it's like, when I go to my bookshelf, usually I'm pretty good about, like, double checking, but, like, usually I'm good about double checking what books are one in the series. And StoryGraph is a pretty good reference for what books are one in the series. But, like, just having it on the spines, like Volume 1, Volume 2, this is the perks of being an S-Class heroine, and then for Remarried Empress, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Villains Are Destined to Die, 1 and 2, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, 1, Heaven Official's Blessing 1 through 8, the hardcover, Volume 1, and then Under the Oak Tree, Volume 1, Volume 2. Can we normalize having that again? Because I miss that. This reading vlog, also, excuse me, we're already at like 30 minutes, so this might be like close to an hour and a half. Which, at first, I was like, you know what, let's not have it be that long. But then I was just like, you know what, let's roll with it. Because this is my channel, these are my videos, and, you know, I'm just having a good time here, and that's what this is for. And this isn't meant to be serious, this isn't meant to be like, sure, I never, like, a lot of my videos are on the shorter side, like 15, 20, 30 minutes, but it's like, that was never my goal to do short videos. Like, not that I dislike doing short videos, but I never had in mind a specific length that I was trying to hit. So, like, if it ends up being an hour and a half long, so be it. It's a reading vlog, and I'm reading, and I'm talking about books. Like, what else could he ask for here? What else could I ask for? I'm talking about books, which I like doing. So, yeah, we're rolling with it right now. But yeah, can we normalize having like the numbers on the sides of books again? Like, please? I would really appreciate that. And yeah, it is more normal in manga and graphic novels and stuff. But like, can we normalize it for general fiction, for westernized fiction? Can we normalize it again, please? Thank you. I keep saying this, but I will be back to you when I have an update, when I have a better update for my first book. This might also be a good angle, but again, I would have to figure out where I would stick my phone. But also, yes, I wear glasses. I'm just usually wearing contacts, but I'm out of my contacts right now. I have been seriously considering deleting my Fable, but I kind of don't want to. Like, I kind of want to, kind of don't want to. Largely because, also, I'm not using a microphone because that was a bit lazy, and this is a very off-the-cuff recording moment. But yeah, I've been kind of thinking of deleting my Fable because it's like, I'm just doing everything like twice at this point, except for tracking where I'm at in my reads. Like, I'm not doing that on Fable, but I'm inserting my current reads, marking them as read, copying, pasting my reviews, and all that stuff, and doing the star rating for both. So it's like, I'm highly considering deleting my Fable, but I don't know if I want to. So, at the very least, my plan is to at least go through until July. Go through July, get at least through half the year, and if I feel this way, because it's currently April, we're in like the second full week of April, and if I still feel like this, halfway through the year, we're only a quarter of the way through the year, a little over a quarter of the way, and if I still feel like this halfway through the year, then I probably will delete my Fable. But if I don't feel like this way, then I won't, and I'll keep it around for a little bit longer. But it's like, I've always kind of preferred StoryGraph, partly because I did immediately transfer over from Goodreads to the StoryGraph. And that's the one that I've been using longest. But like, I don't know, like, I like the concept of Fable. I think if they were to work out other, like, not that they need to like work out little kinks, but if they were to work out some little things that, like, there's certain things that I don't fully like about Fable. It's not that I dislike it, these things about it. I'm not going to go into detail about it here because this is a reading vlog and I want to focus on that. But I'm only talking about this because they are reading tracker apps. I'm not going to go into detail about what I like or don't like about Fable, but it's like, there's certain things I don't like and I wish that they would change about Fable to make it a little bit more seamless. And I've spoken about it before in other videos, so I'm not going to rehash it here. But if I decide to delete Fable, I will make a video about it and post about it, explaining why I decided to delete Fable. But again, I'm not going to make that decision fully until like July or so. Mid-July to early August. But anyway, I am, to give you an update, because I'm trying to be better about that, I am now at chapter 9, page 65 in Bloodbound. I'm really enjoying it so far. I am still kind of feeling like, hey, like, or I don't think I've said this in this video actually, but it's like I feel like I'm refinding my love for fantasy through this book. Not like 100%, because like have been other books, but I think a large part of this is because I'm kind of riding the high of Green Teeth, and that has really rekindled my love of fantasy. And I think because I'm reading this around the same time, it's like they're kind of melding together. But this on its own, Bloodbound, I do think I am rediscovering my love of fantasy because of this, like on its own as well. So I am really enjoying this. I will let you know when I'm a little bit farther into it, but again, I'm only like 65 pages into it. Whereas with Green Teeth, I am like at least at like 50% or more. Maybe not 57%, but I'm in like the 25 to 50% range for Green Teeth. So yeah, with Green Teeth, I'm a little bit deeper into the book so that I know, like, yes, I'm finding my love for fantasy through this book. Whereas like this one, I'm still kind of early on, maybe 10%, 10-15%. So it's like, it's a little bit harder to tell right now. But I do really like it. So far, I would recommend this. Right now, I'm going to guess it's probably like a 4-star read. Whereas with Green Teeth, that would probably be a 5 stars. This is probably like between a 4 and a 4.5 stars, as of right now at least. I will update you when I'm a little bit further into the book. So I ended up doing a bit of splurge reading, ended up finishing Bloodbound pretty quickly. I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. I rated it 4.5 stars. There is some spice to it. For me, it wasn't like anything too crazy, just because I do read quite a bit of spicy romance. So like for me, it wasn't anything super crazy, but it is a little bit more explicit with some of the sex scenes, so just be aware going into it. I did really enjoy it. It was a good first book. From what I can find online, it is a trilogy, or going to be a trilogy. So it was a good first installment of the book. I think some of the characters were, it's not that they're not believable, it's just that like they're kind of like your basic run-of-the-mill fantasy characters and fantasy romance characters, which isn't a bad thing, and in this they are done very well. It's just, again, like your basic run-of-the-mill character types, which not a bad thing, and sometimes that works really well, and I think in this it did work in the book's favor. So 4.5 stars, really good. I'm gonna go get the stacked again, because I have to do another roll to figure out what I'm reading next. Okay, so I have a stack here. I do have at least one more book in this stack than what I had before. I have the same amount of books in the stack that I started out with because I've added one more. You know what the heck? 1 second. No, we're focusing on the unread books. And so a little bit of a preface to this as well. A little bit of an extra little throw in here. For any books that are part of a series, because I was about to when I was making this deck, I was about to grab for whom the bell tolls, just because Bells of Wrath, which is the second book, which is about Greg and Penny, that is coming out in 2027. It's been announced. I can't remember the exact date, but it's 2027. So I was about to grab it, and then I decided against it, and then I was about to just grab it again. But my premise for this is that because I want to try reading the first books before I read the second book, if the second book is unread, or if later books are unread. And the only way the first book will get into this stack is if I have the second book, or if it's like a 3 or more book series, if I have at least the second book. Like in Under the Oak Tree, I have the second book. I'm going to try to pre-order the third book. So I have the second book for Under the Oak Tree, whereas right now, at least, I do not have the second book for Whom the Bell Tolls. I have the second book for this one, What the River Knows. So books only get added to the stack if I'm not gonna add anymore, but they only get added to the stack if I have the second book. If it's a first book in the series, it only gets added. Let me rephrase. If it's the first book of a series that I've already read, it only gets added if I have the second book and the second book is unread. So, or it's like if I have the third book and the third book is unread, if it's a 3 or more book series, like I mentioned. But gosh, I knocked down my B thing. Okay, let me pick it up. I'll put it up here right now. I'm gonna do another roll of this, so I'm gonna take you with me real quick. Okay, you're just gonna have to trust me. If you want to do quick blow, not that will really change anything, but you never know. Whoop. I'm not counting that. Let's see, how many books do I actually have up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. I actually took off, now that I think about it, I took off the second book for What the River Knows duology, which is What the Library Hides. I took that out of the stack because if I land on it, then I'm just going to read the first book and then the second book back to back. The same with Under the Oak Tree. So I just figured take off the second book, and then if I land on the first book, then I just read both back to back. But for a roll, we have 10 books in the stack. 3. Not moving that, and 15. So 18. We're doing 18. Okay, so this actually makes it kind of easy. So 18. So I know I have 10 books, but just to fully count. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to grab the 18th book. Which, again, having it, at least for this round, having it be like 10 helped. So, grabbing the second book, setting it right there for right now, and then I'm going to put the books back, the rest of the stack back, as well as Bloodbound. Okay, so I just brought you over here so I can still talk to you a little bit. Okay. But I'm trying to be as open as possible with this reading vlog, with choosing the books. So like when I roll the dice, I'm really trying not to have any cuts in those, especially those clips, the rolling of the videos themselves. Just because then it's like you guys know that I'm not changing anything, I'm not altering anything. This one goes back too. But yeah, you guys know that I'm not altering anything when I'm rolling the dice. Because like that's kind of the whole point where it's like it's whatever the first roll of the dice is. And this one. At least this roll. I might do one more. I might have this be like a 3-book reading vlog. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm not worried. I should stand over here, don't you think? I'm not really super worried about the length of this because, like longer form content, like I mentioned this before, but I never really gave myself a limit of like I have to stay within this time frame for what my videos will be, but I always kind of stuck within that 15-minute to like 45-50-minute time range, which not a bad thing, but it's like if I just let myself go with the flow here, that just makes it more enjoyable for me. You guys have more to watch, and we're promoting with longer attention spans with like long form content. So three birds with one stone, I guess. But Violet Thistleweed is not a villain anymore, and I feel like starting off with like a 4.5, that was like a really good way to start it. Again, I might have this be a 3-book video. I started saying that I might have this be a 3-book reading vlog, just to test out this kind of a reading vlog, and then we'll do like a part 2 to this, where I do like more of that stack and get through more of that. But like, still, it's like reading 3 books out of, I think that was 11. That brings it down to 8 books that are unread, which is really good considering, because like I really try not to have that many unread books on my bookshelf. Partly, it's not so much as having trophy copies as it is trying to have the books on my bookshelf represent my tastes and what I like. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to be like really particular with which books I actually buy and follow through with buying. So, and sometimes I buy and rent books, as we all do, and sometimes it's hit or miss, and sometimes a lot, sorry. But there are times where you buy a book you think you're going to enjoy, and you end up not enjoying it. Or you buy a book you think you're not going to enjoy, but you end up loving it. So you do kind of have to go with the risk. And it's why I do like the library so much, and why I'm trying to utilize it more, because I'm still taking that risk of trying the book out, but I'm not taking the financial risk of buying it and then no longer enjoying it. So, yeah. But to give you the description, I'm having the hardcover right up here for you without the dust jacket, because that's how I'll be reading it. Violet Thistleweed is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krumholtz. So I've spoken about this, but I was following the author. I was following Emily on Book Talk, and I didn't realize. Not that I didn't realize. I'd forgotten about it because I stopped posting to my Book Talk account for a while, and then I got the book, and I was just like, oh, I'll post something in Book Talk, and like I was just like, oh, like I'll see if the author's on Book Talk or on TikTok. So I search her up, and I'm like, I already follow her. So that made me really happy. But to give you all the description, Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlewaite is determined to start over. Not as a fearsome thorn witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest. Ooh, Jesus, I was reading that wrong. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides, will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted vows of her life. Violet's vibrant bouquets and cheerful enchantments soon charm the welcoming townsfolk, though nothing seems to impress the perky yet dashingly handsome Nathaniel Marsh, an alchemist sharing her greenhouse. With a struggling business and his own second chance seemingly out of reach, Nathaniel has no time for flowers or frippery, and certainly none for the intriguing witch next door. When a mysterious blight endangers every living plant in Dragon's Rest, Violet and Nathaniel must work together through their fears, pasts, and growing feelings for each other and save their community. But with a figure from her previous life knocking at her door and her secrets threatening to uproot everything she's worked so hard to grow, Violet can't help but wonder, does a former villain truly deserve a happily ever after? So I'm really looking forward to this because it's like, this seems right up my alley. I'm not a big romance person, but it seems like the romance will be well balanced out with the fantasy aspect of it. So really excited to read this one. And when did I get this one? November of last year. So I've had it November to January. Whoa, okay. November to December, December to January, January, February, February to March, March to April. About 5 months. A little under half a year. So, oh yeah, my half birthday's in May. Anyway, that's besides what. But we're gonna start reading this. How long is it? Acknowledgements. Oh, I do want to show you the. So cute. It's chapter names and then also cute little chapter artwork. I love that. So, getting back. So now the acknowledgements. 356 pages. So this is a pretty good read. Smaller than Bloodbound. How much was Bloodbound? How many pages? Okay, let's see. How many pages was Bloodbound? 480 something. 480 even. So definitely like 100 pages less, so we're having a little bit of a break. So that's really nice. We're having a small little break, and I am thinking, I know I'm saying this for the third time, but I am thinking of having it be like at 3 books. Once I choose the 3 book and kind of see time frame, how we're doing with this video, where we're at with this video, I might then decide if I'm going to add a 4th or not. But again, we're doing pretty good because it's like bringing it down to 8 is like pretty good. So yeah, I might do another how many books do I have video once I get closer to the end of this one. Because I don't know, not that I need to do another Barnes & Noble or Bookshop run, but I might. I'm going to be, if I do, I'm going to be a lot better and only stick to like 1-2 books. So, yeah. And then obviously I have August coming up, and my friend's birthday is in August, so we're probably going to do like a Barnes & Noble run for her birthday. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to get started with Violet's story. I'm really excited for Violet's story. Okay, so I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. And I had a really good time, perfect cozy fantasy, and with a little bit extra. as I said, I gave it 4 stars. I think, like, I am a big cozy fantasy person. I just think it needs to be right for me. And I think my genre of cozy fantasy is more like, I don't know how to describe it because I did really enjoy this and I really liked it. It just wasn't like the perfect 5 star cozy fantasy for me. Um, I think largely for me it was because the romance was a little bit heavier handed with this one than some of the other cozy fantasies that I've read. But that's not a huge deal. I think it's written well. I think it's a very good story, a very good cozy fantasy. I think just for me, a little too much heavy hand and a little too much heavy handedness on the romance. So we're gonna choose our next book. And I have my stack right here. Um, and I'm gonna roll the dice real quick over on my desk, and then I will do the count for the books. And I think I have the right number. We're just rolling with everything at this point, so I think I have all the correct books in this stack. So we're just gonna roll with it, literally. Okay, so I have the dice right here. This will probably be the last roll I do for this video specifically. And I say roll just because if I land on Under the Oak Tree or What the River Knows, I will be reading both of the books that I have for both of those series in this reading vlog. But once I read them, then I'll end the reading vlog. If I land on a single book or a book where I only, like with the Fallen the Faithful and the Fallen series, Malice by John Gwynne, I don't have the later books. So if I just land on any of the other books where either A, it's not part of the series, or B, I don't have later books, it will be the last book of the reading vlog. But officially, the last roll of the vlog. And again, I might do a part 2, maybe even a part 3, depending on how things go. But yeah, one more little shake. I'm trying to keep it in camera. Okay, 1 and 20. This will be fun. 21. Okay, so 21, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 votes. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's reading the babies again. It's reading the babies again. Okay, I'm going to put her right up here for right now. Put the other books away, and then I'll come back and talk to you about Under the Oak Tree. Okay, so this actually kind of works out because I know that book 3 is coming out in June, so I'm kind of forced to read this now and volume 2 before volume 3 comes out. I love. So this is book 1, and also because these are going to be the last 2 books of the reading vlog, there might be some spoilers for volume 2. Just because I'm not going to steer clear of spoilers, I'm not going to actively talk about them. I might a little bit if it's like big enough, I feel, but I'm not going to actively avoid talking about spoilers, but I'm not going to talk about anything major, especially because like these are the first 2 books, so there's a whole lot of major spoilers quite yet. But like I said, this actually kind of works out because volume 3 is coming out in June, and I do kind of need to pre-order. I want to pre-order it so that I can just get it in the mail as soon as possible, and I don't have to worry about like going and buying it. But to give you the description, Lady Maximilian is the daughter of the powerful Duke Croissa, but she is rarely allowed outside her family's sprawling castle, for fear that her stutter will tarnish their noble name. When she is forced to marry Sir Riften, a low-born knight caught in one of her father's schemes, Maxie doesn't dare hope for happiness, let alone love. Her stumbling communication and his gruff manner sour their relationship before it can even begin, and Riften leaves without a word the morning after their vows are exchanged. Now, 3 years after their disastrous wedding night, Riften returns, as a war hero. To Maxie's surprise, despite rumors that he was offered a marriage to Princess Agnes, a beautiful and renowned sorceress, Riften still wants Maxie for his wife. And when he comes to claim her, his desire bewilders Maxie, even as she is overcome by the scorching heat that Riften's presence ignites within her. As she learns to navigate the intricacies of her new life, finds herself in her courage and discover Maxie will find herself in her courage and discover that she is anything but powerless. So that's book one, and honestly, I'm so excited to reread this again because I'm hoping that once I pre-order book three and get it, I'm hoping that I will read it within a short amount of time of it arriving. And then I will talk about book two once I finish book one. But can we talk about the spread edges? It's absolutely gorgeous. Go down the side. The first moment I saw you, I knew that you would ruin me. And then this one is a little bit shorter, so let's see the page difference between the two, shall we? Excuse me. Okay. Signature Notes Handbook. I'm trying to do it like without excess stuff or just the story. Okay, not including the Seven Kingdoms Handbook. This is 471 pages. This is a little bit shorter. Okay. Oh, it's quicker. Okay. 390. Wow, that's like 80 pages less. Okay. So that should hopefully go by somewhat quickly. I'm really happy to return to our girl Maxie. Let me just put these right here just so I kind of know where book two goes. Really excited to get back to Maxie and Riften. And this is also good prep. So, like I was saying before I did the dice roll, I will read these two and then that will be the end of this reading vlog. And I know we're basically hitting the hour mark or already over it. Which is totally fine. I am totally fine with that. Again, like I've said a few times, I'm trying not to box myself into like a time frame for my videos. So, and once I finish these two, that will be the end. I'll probably start with part two for this. Once I read these two, I'll probably start at part two once I wrap up this video and once I finish Under the Oak Tree Volumes 1 and 2. And that's just, I have the arc for Volume 1 right here. I'm too attached to get rid of this. But once I finish Volumes 1 and 2, that's when this video will end. And then I'll probably start the next one in the next part, just to keep the momentum going and to try to read as many of the unread books on my bookshelf as soon as possible. So I'll see you all in the next update. Good morning. So I am having to talk a little bit quietly because my sister is asleep. But I wanted to give you an update. I was thinking about it. So I am about halfway through Under the Oak Tree now. I am loving it as usual, and that's not a big surprise with how much I rave about this book on my channel. Absolutely loving it. Really fantastic read. I cannot wait to read book two. And it is currently 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably gonna try to read some when I get home from work today. But right now, at least, I'm not gonna do any reading. Like, I've tried reading in the morning and it just, unless it's an audiobook, like reading a physical book early in the morning before work doesn't really work out for me. So, but even then, it's like I usually play music in the morning when I'm sitting in the living room. So yeah, that is the update that I have for you. Again, I'm probably gonna read a little bit later this evening once I'm home from work. But yeah, I'm about halfway. Like I said, I'm loving it. I cannot wait for book 2. I can't wait for book 3. So I'm gonna try to read book 3 soon after getting it, so that at least books 1 and 2 are fresh in my mind, or as fresh as possible. So yeah, that is the update I have for you all, and I will see you all in my next update. Also, well, not really also because I just started talking this clip, but I realized I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore at the beginning of the video. I promise it's a new week. I don't remember quite when I started this video, but it's currently April 22nd. So I promise it's a new week, and it's a different week. There's been about anyway, it's new week. Again, I don't quite remember when I started this, but I finished Under the Oak Tree, had a really good time with it, and now I can put this back up on my bookshelf. Let me turn you slightly so you can see that. So I had a really good time with it. Now it means that I can read volume 2. And honestly, I love the designs. I love the spring edges. Oh, I shall love thee with until my dying breath. Sweet babies. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm really excited to read volume 2, and honestly, it's good preparation for volume 3. And like I mentioned earlier, hopefully I will read volume 3 soon after this, like once it comes out, obviously, because it's being published in June. But slight spoilers, I will have like a little spoiler thing up on the screen for the duration of the spoiler parts. But just to read you the description for volume 2, because anyway, so it's slight spoiler, but it's volume 2, so it's not that deep into the series yet. Anyway, as her first winter in Anatole turns to spring, Lady Maximilian finds herself confronting an unfamiliar feeling: hope. Her voice and her magic strengthen every day. The only parts of Calyp's castle left to refurbish are its gardens, which she plans to fill with blooming flowers. And the way her husband, the recalcitrant war hero Sir Riften, looks at her from across their bedroom makes her feel, for the first time in her life, that she might be worthy of love and affection. However, Maxie's life is never that easy. Just as she begins to feel at home with Riften, Maxie receives a surprise visit from Princess Agnes, the renowned sorceress who might have become Riften's wife if he had decided to divorce Maxie after the Dragon campaign. Not at all is what not all not at all what Maxie expected. The princess stirs up complicated emotions and politics that could lead to monumental changes in Maxie and Riften's relationship. So, like, I talk about Volume 1 a whole lot on this channel, and it's going to be a series that I continue talking about on this channel, and I will continue to love. It's just, I'm a little bit nervous going into this, but yeah, like, I'm a little bit nervous because it's like I just want my babies to be happy, you know, and that's all I want in life. So, anyway, I'm just gonna plow ahead, push ahead, read Volume 2, and get it over with. So, I will come back to you just to make this video as short as possible. Well, not as short as possible because we're already at like an hour or 15 minutes or so, roughly. But not to prolong it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read it and then come back to you once I'm done reading it. Just to wrap this video up a little bit quicker, and then that way, what I'm going to do is basically once I finish up this video and finish up this book is when I will start like a part 2 for this reading vlog, because I really want to try to get through more of that stack. So I'll basically, right as I'm like uploading it to YouTube and scheduling it, I will immediately start part 2 for this reading vlog. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. And to make the, like, hopefully part 2 will be shorter. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. But, well, I think this part 2 for this reading vlog should be shorter. It's not going to be officially called, well, maybe. It'll probably be part 2. Anyway, we'll see. But I think it will be shorter. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. But I will come back to you all at the end of this video, which should be in a minute for you guys, like half a minute, with my updates about what I thought. Okay, so I am about 25% of the way through. I'm at page like 102. I think I'm at chapter 14. I'm about to start chapter 14. And I have decided that I'm going to end this vlog here. Excuse me. Where's my end here? There it is. That way I can start working on part 2 for this vlog. And that way it's just a little bit easier as well, for me at least, in getting stuff up on the channel. And also just like breaking things up a little bit. So you will see the update for Under the Oak Tree Volume 2 in the next part, in part 2, which I don't know when that will come out, but I have a playlist which is linked down below in the description for the Roll of the Dice reading vlogs. So that'll be linked down below in the description. When this video is up, there will only be one video, but I will add future Roll of the Dice reading vlog videos into that playlist, and it'll also be at the end card at the end of this video, and all the Roll of the Dice reading vlog videos as well. So with all of that said, if you made it this far into the reading vlog, let me know. If you made it this far into the video, let me know how you choose your next read. And with all of that said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.